Hi there, hello, hi, and welcome. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Senia. I'm a fantasy author, an avid reader, a comparative literature major in university. I've already finished my bachelor's degree and I'm currently working on my master's thesis. So yeah, that's who I am. And today we are going to do a tag. A YouTube tag. I feel like these things are kind of like coming back. I feel like there were more of these like a few years ago maybe. And I feel like then there was this like pause and now there's more YouTube tags again, especially like booktube tags. So today's tag, as you probably have already noticed by the title of the video, it's Romantasy Reader Book Tag. And I feel like it's not always clear what is romantasy and what isn't. So I'm wondering if I will get all of these right. So excuse me if some of these aren't actually romantasy and so on. In that case though, at least I have really loved the romance in them and I think that's a compliment on the book. So yeah. But no, I'm not going to say, like, for example, Holly Black's Cruel Prince. It's not romantasy, it's more like political fantasy even. Epic fantasy, definitely fairy tale fantasy, and so many other things, but I wouldn't call it romantasy. Yes, there's romance, but it's a subplot. And I feel like it's not the kind of thing most romantasy readers expect. But by the way, I do love Cruel Prince. It was 5 stars for me, and I love most things I've read by Holly Black. I've loved her work since I was a child when I read like Spiderwick Chronicles. So yeah. There's 12 questions, so let's start with the first one. What was your gateway romantasy book? Okay, I have a few thoughts on this. So I started reading romantasy when I was super young. But I don't think anyone called it romantasy back then, but these are books I would consider romantasy. But these are older books, these have come out like, I don't even know when. So, the first series I think I started reading, this isn't the first series I finished, this is the first series I started reading. I know they're not a matching set, and I used to actually have the first book only in Finnish, I think, but I found it secondhand in English, and now I have it English. And this is the first book I think I ever read. The first novel I ever read in English. So yeah. And then there's these two that I bought right away when they came out, if I remember correctly, because I was hooked by then. And I think Crescendo had just come out when I read the first book. Maybe. I could be wrong. But yeah, I feel like this is the first romantasy book I read. This, I guess, young adult. I mean, I would assume so because I was pretty young when this came out. And fun fact, I'm not entirely sure if I ever finished the last book. I know I started reading it, by the way. But now that I'm thinking, I'm not entirely sure if I ever finished it. Yeah. But hush hush. So, I think those were the first ones. But there's also another series that I would consider romantasy in a way. Twilight. Okay, I was... I wonder how young I was when this came out. No, I think I read the first book after I saw the first movie, actually. I think that's what happened, because I was around 10 when the first movie came out, and I watched it with my friend back then, and yeah, I think after that I read the books. I didn't read them right away. I think I read the first book and then there was a gap and then I read the rest of the series. It was summer when I finished them, that's all I remember. Twilight. I was a Twilight fan. I was a big Twilight fan. I think I still have some like stored away, but I think I still have some of my fan merch. And yeah, I usually have this like huge blanket with Edward's face on it, and I had so many different t-shirts, Twilight t-shirts, and some other merch. And I remember when the final movie came out, and they were like, we went to the movies like it was like midnight, and I remember being so exhausted the next day when I had to go to school. Yeah, good memories, good memories. Just realized that I forgot to mention one series that I may have read before Hush Hush, or maybe after it, but still, I only have 3 books. I think there are 6 in total. I don't have these 3, but I loved these, and I think these are just as much romantic as, you know, Twilight or Hush Hush. So, yeah. I think I originally read these in Finnish too, so I might have been quite young when I read them. But yeah, it's the Immortals series. So I guess I would call those my gateway books to Romantasy. But if you're talking about more modern books, then I would call my gateway books... Actually, if you're talking about more recent books, I know what got me back into reading this kind of books when I was reading less and little different books. So I'm pretty sure The Savior's Champion, I would call this romantasy. I mean, it's romantasy, right? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, Savior's Champion, this got me back into reading this kind of books in 2020 maybe. I mean, I was reading before that, but I wasn't, there was this like period when there were a few years when I didn't, you know, read it that much. I mean, I read books, and I read classics and so on, but I wasn't reading as actively as I am now, for example. So I think in 2020 I read like maybe actually only 20 books or something. I don't mean that that's like if you read 20 books, amazing. And what I mean by that is that right now in a year I read about 60 books, and there was one year when I read like over 100 books, so that 20 feels so like such a small number now for me. But yeah, this could be kind of like a gateway back to the romantasy books. What is the longest romantasy book you've read? Okay, longest romantasy book I've read. Actually, I mean, Savior's Champion is pretty long. This is like 539 pages or something. Could that be the longest? Because some books I've listened to as audiobooks, like Onyx Storm. Is that romantasy? I mean, it is. I guess it is. Onyx Storm is quite long, I think. But if you're talking about book sizes, this is the biggest book I have on my shelves. But then I have also ebooks, and I listen to audiobooks. So I'm not entirely sure. And actually, now that I'm thinking, how long is A Court of Thorns and Roses? Like, not the first book maybe, but like the second and third book. One of those, probably. Could be something else too, because yeah, there's been so many books that I've read. Could be this, could be one of the A Court of Thorns and Roses books. It could be something entirely else. Could be Onyx Storm. I don't know. So, next question. What is an underrated romantasy more people need to read? More people need to read. I'm looking at my shelves and wondering. By the way, all the books you see on my shelves, I haven't read all of them. I've read many, but not all of them. And I should read more of them. Yeah. I think I know. I think it's this one. Most underrated. I mean, I don't know if this is underrated, but I feel like I don't see this often enough. I mean, from time to time I see other people reading this, but more people should read it. So I'm going to say The Marionettes by Katie Wisma, and I'm going to also say that I've only read the first book. I have all of the books. I have the first 2 books in hardcover, and I have them also in paperback, but I have the entire series in paperback. And yeah, I love Katie Wisma's books, so yeah. But I should finish this series, but I'm going to say this book is underrated. Like, I need more people need to read this. Yeah. I don't see it often enough. I don't see it enough. So yeah. And by the way, the paperback cover looks a little different, so let me show you. So yeah, this book. Then 4th question. What is the longest romantasy series you've read? Romantasy series you've read. Actually, it's probably ACTA. You can see the books probably over there. I think so. Except for the last one. I have it over there. Because I'm not a fan of the last book. I read it, but I'm not a big fan actually. Sorry, but as an older sister, I can't understand Nesta. You know, I feel like no, just no. So yeah, that could be an entire conversation on its own. But I think Octa. So I think that's the longest series. Actually, no. Actually, I just realized I haven't finished it yet because I think the final book hasn't come out yet. But An Air Comes to Rise by C.C. Penyranda, or is it Chloe C. Penyranda nowadays? Anyway, yeah, An Air Comes to Rise, that series. I think that's actually, have I read 5 books or 4 books? I can't remember. But on the other hand, Akta is like the blue one over there. That's a novella. So I don't know. But An Air Comes to Rise is at least going to be very soon the longest series I've read. Maybe a Court of Thorns and Roses series for now. An Air Comes to Rise is probably the next. And I mean, Twilight is 4 books. I haven't read Midnight Sun. I have it waiting on my shelf. You can see it, it's over there. But yeah, I think I will read it at some point just because of nostalgia. But I don't know. I don't have high expectations, maybe because I was so young when I read those books. And I know I enjoyed them back then, but nowadays, would I? I don't know. What is a romantasy book that is worth the hype? Ooh, yeah, Blood and Steel. Blood and Steel. I don't have the book yet. I mean, I have ebooks. And I've listened to the audiobooks and so on. But I have the prequel. And I mean, the entire series, like this is the prequel. It tells about characters that you will get to meet in the like main series as well. But then the main series is chef's kiss. Like Blood and Steel and the rest of the books and the series, The Legends of Thelma. It's just amazing. yeah, that's definitely worth all the hype. It requires more hype, and I'm currently reading Iron and Embers, which is, it's like this, it's another series, but it tells about the Blood and Steel main character's sister and stuff. So it happens after the first series, and this is like a sequel series. Yeah. So I'm currently reading the first book. It just came out, and I'm so excited. But yeah, everything about Thesma that Helen Shore has written. So this prequel, the main series, and then the second series. I mean, I haven't finished the first book in the second series, but I think I will like it. So I'm feeling confident. Sixth question: what romantasy has your favorite romance? My favorite romance? Okay. I mean, at some point I would have said A Court of Mist and Fury, but I feel like it's been so long since I read the books, by the way. But I feel like this, especially when it comes to the final book, The Silver Flames, I feel like some of the characters have just become like, they are not the characters I thought they were. I mean, I still enjoyed the books, I'm not saying that, and they are books, they're fantasy, they're escapism. So if you like them, don't let me influence that. I don't. That's not what I mean. I just feel like I can't look at the books. At least nowadays, I can't look at the books and go like, oh yeah, I like that, because there's just so much that's not okay in the books. So yeah. But if that's your favorite series or something, valid. I get it. It was at one point my favorite series, definitely. But I never liked the first book, so that's yeah. So, what has my favorite romance? Okay, now I have to really think about this, because I don't know. I mean, I like One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. By the way, this is the book I did my bachelor's thesis on, the world building of it. But like, I don't know if it has my favorite romance. I mean, that's a little bit, maybe not. I like the romance in this, I like the romance in Blood and Steel, and I'm actually starting to think that I want to say Blood and Steel, but I'm not sure. Blood and Steel, maybe? That could be one potential option. Favorite romance? I can't come up with anything, because I started thinking maybe Dance of Thieves, but then again, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it was good. I haven't read the second book yet. I should. Yeah. I also don't mind the romance in this. It's really nice. I liked it. It's been a while since I read the book, but I remember liking the romance in this book. But I don't know. I think I'm going to just say Blood and Steel. You know, the entire series. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Blood and Steel, because Walda and Thea are just amazing. So, number 7, the 7th question. What is your favorite cover of a romantic book? Okay, favorite cover? I like so many, but I like character art, so this could be one, but maybe not number 1. This could be pretty close to being number 1. Favorite cover? I like character art on the cover, and I mean, just look at it. Yeah. What else? There's also books I haven't read. I mean, there's so many great covers. I don't even know if this is romantasy, because I haven't read the original trilogy, and I haven't read the Dance of Thieves duology. I also like the simplicity of these, but still, like, it's kind of simple, but then it's not. But I haven't read these either, but like, it's a good cover. Not my favorite, but it's a good cover. Then I started thinking I also like Rich Kingdom. Still, even now, I'm thinking that this is still would be number 1 out of these. Maybe. I'm not sure if this is Romantasy, but I'm also gonna show it because I also like the cover, but maybe it wouldn't be number 1, but I also like this cover. I haven't read it yet. I have to. I think in the end I'm going to go with this one. I mean, they are gorgeous covers. There's so many, and I mean, I even like Blood and Steel and so on, but these just amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to go with this one. Because otherwise I will never be able to decide. But it actually could be that one, so yeah. So number 8, what is your all-time favorite Romantasy? All-time favorite Romantasy? Blood and Steel. Yeah. Blood and Steel, The Legends of Thesma, the entire series. Yeah. Let's go with that one. So number 9, question 9, the 9th question. Who is your all-time favorite Romantasy author? I'm gonna say Helen Scheurer. Chloe C. Penny-Randa could be a close second. But maybe Helen Scheurer is number 1. At least right now. So then the 10th question. And what is the last romance book that you read? I mean, I'm reading Iron and Embers by Helen Scheurer, but before that I read Onyx Storm. I think that counts as romantasy, even though it's just so much more, but so are so many other books. Like Blood and Steel isn't just romance, and I'm hoping that these are romantasy books. Like, I feel like it's not always so clear, like, is this romantasy or not? Because there are fantasy books that have, like, big subplots filled with romance, but then they might still not be, romantasy. So, I don't know. But, like, if I'm going to say that this seemed like a romance book, then at least the author nailed when it comes to romance. So, yeah, nailed it. Then the 11th question. What are the top 3 romance books on your TBR? So my to-be-read list, well, I'm currently reading Iron Embers, so I guess that doesn't count. What else? I mean, I would say... Wait, what is the 5th book in Chloe Penny-Randa's And Air Comes to Rise? Okay, yeah, the 5th book, A Sword from the Embers. I haven't read that one, just checked, and I was thinking that I probably hadn't. I think I almost started it last autumn, but then deadlines and everything got in the way, and I didn't get the chance. But yeah, A Sword from the Embers. That one is definitely very high up on my to-be-read list. Then maybe I would say... Can I get it? Wicked Souls. I think this is also pretty high up on my to-be-read list, because it's been waiting for so long on my shelves. Yeah, I was supposed to read this ages ago. But yeah, Wicked Souls. This is the 2nd book in the Marionette series. But these are all sequels to, books I've already read. So what is a book I haven't read yet? Oh yeah, The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen. I'm actually thinking of using these on my thesis as well, so I have to read them if I'm going to do that. We'll see. But yeah, Bridge Kingdom is pretty high up. What else could be? Okay, I mean, that's already 3. But I'm still going to mention, I mean, you can see I have most of the series over there, Raven Kennedy's Guild. I haven't read one of them. Not even one, and I'm about to have the entire series, so I will have to read those. Then I also need to continue Alice Core's series Married to Magic. You can see the last book over there. Adela Rue and so on, but yeah, I think the first 3 that I mentioned are like the highest up. At least nothing else comes to mind right now. Then question 12, the 12th question. Who are your favorite romantic content creators to follow? I feel like I don't really... I never remember people's names. I'm so bad with names. Like, awful. I feel like I actually remember fictional names even better than I remember people's names, so yeah, sorry. And the same applies to usernames and so on. So I don't know if I have like a favorite romantasy content creator. I feel like I watch all things that talk about fantasy, even better if it's romantasy. Well, I mean, I like both. I like when it's just fantasy, but I also love when it's romantasy, so yeah. And I feel like sometimes there's this like, is this romantasy or is this fantasy? Because it's so heavily focused on something other than the romance, but it still has heavy romance. Like, for example, Onyx Stone, like Fourth Wing, that's kinda like this. It's a lot of like political fantasy, but then it's also a lot of romance, so yeah. With content creators, I can't think of anyone right now by name, but I mean, I follow so many, like, I especially love to see authors talking about their romantic books. What else? Like, I'm thinking of YouTubers that I watch often, but only name that comes to mind right now is Elliot Brooks. I love her videos. I watch so many others too, but I'm so bad with everyone's names, so maybe if I can come up with something I will add a list somewhere here. But like, go see who I follow on Instagram and you might find you know, people, content creators that I really like. I think that's it. I think that's the book tag. We finished. Woohoo! Have you read any of these books, by the way? Any of the books that I recommended, or any of the books that I showed that are on my to-be-read list or so on? Let me know if you read any of them, or if you liked any of them, or maybe even if you didn't like, what didn't you like about them? I'm still probably going to read the books that are on my to-be-read list. Just because, I mean, reading is very subjective. Even if someone doesn't like a book, it doesn't mean I wouldn't like it. But on the other hand, if someone likes the book, it doesn't mean I will like it. So yeah, but I feel like I bought these books, I'm going to read them, and yeah, and I can't wait to finish Iron Embers. Like, so far I haven't finished it, but I highly recommend it so far. And I mean, I'm pretty confident because I like Helen Scheuer's books so much, so I don't think she will let me down this time either. So there's that. I think that's all for today. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books, or what would your answers be to these questions. I will include them down below. The original creator of this book tag, I think, is Peace Love Books XO here on YouTube, so go check her out. I will leave her channel linked down below. So yeah, and go check out if any of the other readers have done this. Go and see, go follow them, go show some love, and go get some book recs, romantasy book recs. I mean, who wouldn't want the romantasy book recs? I think that's actually what I'm going to do next. I'm going to see who else has done this tag, and I'm going to see, and yeah, because I need romantasy book recs. Also, by the way, I want to mention another book rec that's romantasy before we are going to end this video, and it's, I think it's Wizard's Masquerade by, is it like J. Pellegrin? I haven't read the second book, but I loved the first book when I got it from NetGalley when it came out. So yeah, that's another recommendation. There could be so many others, but I think there have been a ton of books that we have mentioned. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.